right. Greetings. Excuse me. Greetings. Welcome back to another episode of the Wiley Show. It's truly a blessing that we are back here. And so we got a lot of stuff that we want to discuss in this particular episode. And I'm not going to get into everything because I want to put it in a separate video. So we're going to stick to what I titled this particular video. But wanted to thank you all for just tuning in. So on day before yesterday, I was watching Larry Reid live. I was watching his live because everybody kept saying Prophet Brian Carn has been evicted from his church and he had to move and he owed rent and all this. And so I was really just, in my zone doing my investigation to see what was going on. Of course, I went on other platforms. I think I was on North Carolina Beat. They said that Prophet Bryant owed about $15,000 he owed to the church, and he got evicted. And of course, I went over to Larry because Larry said he had something to say about Prophet Khan and about his eviction. But let me tell you about church, period. People is looking at church in a different way. I know myself, I grew up in the church. Before there was live streaming, you really had to go, and then eventually at the church I attended, we started selling DVDs. We started recording the services. Well, before DVDs, we started selling VHS tapes, and we said to the saints, and then we upgraded to DVDs. Then we did cassette tapes. But now the industry of the church have changed, and now we are currently into live streaming services. So when the pandemic hit back in 2020, folks, the churches started shutting down, and people um, start looking at church a different type of way. People was afraid to go to church because of the virus, and of course, COVID. They had lost a lot of bishops and a lot of pastors during the pandemic because a lot of times, a lot of the Koja churches, they decided, hey, we're gonna do our convocations anyhow. We're gonna go to church anyhow. And that virus was moving around swiftly, and a lot of the saints have passed away because of the virus. So now we are in a predicament in the church where people are watching church virtually. I look at my mom; she haven't been in a physical church in years, and now that it is virtual, I said, "Mom, is you going to church?" She said, "Virtually." I said, "Mom, we go to church next Sunday virtually." Did I text her? I said, "You going to church virtually?" So now everybody going to church virtually. A lot of people are going to church virtually, and so when I was watching Pilgrim assemblies, I was watching them last night. It was a holy convocation. And during that broadcast, they literally had about 2,000 people watching live. And it wasn't 2,000 people in the building. I'm going to say that again. It was 2,000 people watching Pilgrim Assemblies International. They were watching, almost about 2,000 people was watching live, but it wasn't 2,000 people in the building. So a lot of the churches have to learn how to adapt into the live stream model and to that. One thing about Larry Reid that he have gotten right, he said we need to we need to start integrating our ministries online because people are going to leave the physical churches and they're just going to watch online. Of course, his prophecy have came true because a lot of people have left the physical building and they are now watching churches online. So let's also look at this. When people are not watching or going to church, they're not giving. And if they're not giving, it's hard for that church to make money. It's hard for that church to make a profit. It's hard for that church to pay their bills. Now, for church, if you're used to getting each Sunday about $2,000-$3,000 per Sunday, and half of your membership is gone, now your half of your offering is gone, so you can't really pay staff. You can't pay a mortgage. You can't expand. Even the church that I attended when I was growing up, we used to have church Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Friday night, Sunday, every second Saturday. But now because the membership have declined and they don't have a strong online audience. They now only have church on Friday night and on Sunday. So you have to learn how to adapt because people are going to church a different type of way. For it, I look at my personal life again. I haven't went to a physical church in a long time, and so I watch primarily on virtual. But let me say this: going to church virtually is not the same being in person, especially from a person that was raised in an in-person church. Is a different vibe. Now it's still fun, watch virtual and stuff like that. But it's like different when you mingle among the saints and the people of God in person versus, mingling with them, um, um, virtually. It's a different type of vibe. But I understand that virtual it need to happen because we are in a different place where we have to adapt into this new world. Now, to Prophet Bryant, he told Larry Reid, he said, "Listen, Larry, uh, I didn't get evicted. Everybody from that particular building had to leave because he would hold the rent because the landlord wasn't fixing any of the issues that was going on with the property." And that's why they had to leave. Everybody from that building had to leave. And of course, somebody told Larry, well, uh, in the court documents, it said that he owed money to the landlord and that he was evicted and all of that. And so I understand what was going on. And he said, no, Larry, this is what Prophet Khan told Larry. I didn't get evicted. I would hold my rent, and we went to court, and the judgment was that you leave the building, and you get to get your items back from the property. So everybody kept saying he was evicted, he was evicted. Now, whatever how you look at it, it's still technically an eviction. Avoided because you withhold the rent, you get evicted, you have to leave the property, all of that. So now everybody is looking at profit com, but I understand why you want to withhold the rent. If it is true that people was not, the landlord was not fixing the items of the building and really fixing the items of the building, then I understand why you say, hey, I'm going to withhold the rent until you fix items at the church, at the, by whatever the issues were. What I was saying that because Prophet Khan raised a lot of money and hopefully in his bank accounts they have the money, that they should get a small, get a church that they can afford a mortgage, a small building or a medium-sized building, and get a mortgage and just pay a mortgage. Because if you're paying, from my understanding, they say he was paying about $6,000 per month, $7,000 per month. You could get a mortgage and probably pay half of that in a mortgage, and you don't have to pay property. I don't think you pay taxes because I think a church is taxes him, so that means they don't have to pay property tax if I'm not mistaken. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. And I think I don't see any comments, or unless nobody ain't no comment on here. Um, can you at least pay? You could pay a mortgage and say, hey, let's go ahead on and pay particular mortgage, and then in the mortgage we can you can have a church that way. So that's what I'm looking at. Maybe if you pay and say, hey, let's just go ahead and get a mortgage. Now, another issue that his church is going through, Prophet Khan Church is going through, he's going to be going to prison next month. Of course, I want to keep Prophet Khan and his family in prayer. His father is dying, but his church is going to be dealing with a very, very situation because he'll be going to, if I'm not mistaken, chat, he'll be having to serve, I believe, 9 months, 9 months in prison. I'm gonna say it again. He will have to serve about 9 months in prison because of tax evasion. So you really got to get your stuff together when you do your taxes. You can't be up there lying on your taxes. So he will have to go and get it for tax evasion. So now the church gonna have to find a way to survive for 9 months without their leader, for 9 months without their pastor, for 9 months. That's not a long time, but for church, that's a little time that you will have to survive without your leader. So we're definitely going to keep y'all updated on when the prophet Brian have to turn himself in to prison. But did he lie to Larry Reid? Technically, it's on a technicality because you were evicted for non-rent. So it technically was an eviction. I'm saying technically it was an eviction. Okay. So we're going to keep y'all updated on that. And we'll be back live, talk about some other subjects, and we'll talk to y'all soon. All right, y'all be good. Thank y'all so very much for checking this. So I'm going to say technically, it was an eviction. Technically. Technically. So you can't be out here lying and say, hey, I get evicted. Because if they put you out, that's an eviction. I'm going to say that again. That's an eviction. Regardless if you want to agree with that or not, that's an eviction. And wherever you go, you have to pay. But I understand, but I want to say this on this other hand, though. If you owe the church, if you did not fix the building, if you have issues in the building, you have a right as a tenant to withhold the rent, but you would have to put the money in an escrow account. I believe you have to put a special account. You would have to put the money to prove that, you know what I'm saying, just in case, you know what I'm saying, you just can't like spend the money. So the money would have to go into a special account to say, hey, I withholding my rent. This is a special account, and here we go. So that's what I do on that. All right. But that's how it's going there with the whole Prophet Con. I do, I don't want to see nobody go to prison. I'm going to say it again. I don't want to see nobody go to prison. Because when you go to prison, your family is in prison. Your church is in prison. Because they're going to be hurt. They're going to be grieving if their leader is in prison. So you want to get involved, don't want to get involved and get that deep in there. So again, but you said Brian lying. Say Jay said Brian is lying. You said Brian is lying. And so that's what I'm saying. And I do feel bad for, because when I looked at the documents, when I heard about the document, I didn't look at the documents. Let me make that plain. It's look like an eviction. It's embarrassing. But he raised a lot of money for his church. Why not get a mortgage? You know what I'm saying? I feel bad as a leader. It's embarrassing that he put his church through this embarrassment. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really sad. I don't even know, and maybe say, James, you could tell me, I don't even know who's going to be the church, who's going to be the pastor while he's away in prison, because I've heard he said he's not going to prison, but he is going to prison. they gave him an extension because his father is dying to turn himself in. I do personally feel bad for that. His father is dying. I feel terrible, but like that's a very hurtful thing that your father is gone, is leaving and transitioning. Okay, he hasn't said. Okay, so we don't know who is going to be the leader while Prophet Carn is away. I believe for 9 months. He's away. That's not a long time. That's not a long time, but for church, that's a long time. And so he definitely had to have a leader to get in his shoes. And from my understanding, I don't even really see any guests like preachers at his church like that. He does pretty much all the preaching. So again, we will see how this is going to turn out with Prophet. But again, like I said, you have to pay your taxes. You know what I'm saying? You have to pay your taxes. You can't be amending your tax returns and saying, I made nothing or I made this, or you made millions. So hopefully he get to work on that. Hopefully he learned his lesson. Hey, but if the pastor is lying, Lord have mercy. You leading your people to hell with all that lying. You as a leader, God wants you to, live right and live holy. And in the scripture it said all liars will have their part in the lake. So again, you got to be careful with all that lying, and you a leader because you're going to be held accountable for all that lying, and the blood is going to be on your hand because you literally are not teaching the truth. And then what's more damaging is hypocritical. You're a hypocrite when you are literally preaching one thing. You try to preach holiness and you try to preach righteousness, but you yourself ain't living holy, ain't living righteous yourself. So you have to live holy, because again, when judgment day comes, because it's going to start in the church first. Oh, let me not get in the scripture. Let me get in that deep. It's going to start with the church first. So a lot of those leaders and pastors that are literally lying and commit adultery and commit fornication and twisting the scriptures to fit their sinful life, you're going to be held accountable for that, right? So when judgment day come, you're going to be held accountable for those lies. So you got to be careful with doing all those, but doing that lying spirit and knowing that, especially when you say you are a prophet, when you say you of God and all that. And now Prophet Khan definitely did a prophecy. He did some prophecies, and some of that stuff didn't come to pass because it was just blatantly not true. So because God is not going to reveal something and it don't come to pass. So let's just be that right there to there. Okay. God ain't gonna reveal something to you and say, God revealed this to me, this gonna happen to you, Brother Wiley. And then if it don't happen, God did not reveal that to that prophet. So you just lying on God. Because if God say this is gonna happen, then it's gonna happen. But if it don't happen, God didn't say it. It's just that simple. So don't be putting out there saying, well, God said that in 3 days, Wiley, you're gonna get 2.5 million. And on that third day, if I don't get that 2.5 million, you lied on God. So that's how you can tell if a prophet is telling the truth. If it don't come to pass, that ain't no true prophecy. It's simple. It's not that deep. And a lot of these prophecies, a lot of these prophets be trying to, uh, uh, be doing a lot of predictions, and they become a lot of they be trying to become a psychic, and God to tell them they be trying to guess, and some of the guesses it be correct. They guess correct, but God didn't really, so they just know how to guess correctly. Because you got some that know how to be like a psychic almost. You got some that are blatantly just lie to you on that. So yeah, we got to do that, and then a lot of times we need to verify what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Because if you say we need 20 people to give 1,000, you get that 1,000, you'll get $1 million in your bank account. Most churches they don't verify those type of prophecy, because we need somebody, we need a witness to say, yeah, 20 people, and those 20 people need to show proof that on that next week, the prophet said you give 1,000, you're gonna get 1.5 million in your bank account. That need to be verified that 1.5 million is in your bank account. It needs to be verified. So you shouldn't just blatantly just say it and say, hey, 1.5 million is going to be in your bank account. And if it's not in there, then that's another lie. And then, yes, he predicted that the World Cup winner, he definitely predicted that as well. But he have other predictions that did not come true. Some just do it. And then that make you look like a bad prophet. When some of the stuff comes true, some of the stuff don't come true. I like, if you are truly a prophet, that everything you say God revealed to you will come to pass. Will come to pass. There are some prophets in the Bible, their prophecy came to pass generations and years after they died. You know what I'm saying? But if you put a prophecy, Trump I believe Prophet Carn said this, I could be wrong, maybe St. J, you correct me. Yeah, Trump gonna win. I believe this is during the election with Trump and Biden. Was revealed to me that Trump is gonna win. God revealed it to me that Trump is going to win the election. And then who won that election with Trump and Biden? Biden won that election. So you put that God revealed it to you, it didn't come to pass. God didn't tell you that, because God don't lie. God don't lie. So that's how we're gonna look into that. God do not lie. So you got to be very cautious with that. With that, you got to be careful who you follow. But I've heard. Now, I don't know how true it is. I've heard that he said he's not gonna go to prison. So we shall see. Because you got to be careful with saying that. Just you're not going to prison. Oh, constant that Hillary was gonna win. Okay, let's go all the way back. That's with the Hillary and Donald Trump. When he said that Hillary was gonna win and Hillary didn't win. It was Trump. And then I remember there was another guy. Well, he's not a prophet, but there was another guy said that he never predicted an election wrong, and he predicted that Trump was going to lose, and Trump actually won that election with Kamala Harris. So you got to be. What I'm telling people, you got to be cautious. But again, people still gonna follow who they're gonna follow, because again, Prophet Carn, he's sound anointed. He know how to perform very well in the church. He can sing. He's not ugly. He's attracted to some folks. So that's just how that goes with that. But I'll never forget it. I was watching what is her name? She was on King Jive's show. Lexi, I believe her name was Lexi, if I'm not mistaken. She was on there, and she said that Prophet Carn would get these women, and the armor bearer would have to cover up for the women and buy them gifts, and then tell one woman don't wear the same gift that Prophet Carn bought them, because it'd be like the same gifts, and it'd be like problems in there, and then he would have to book the rooms, and he was doing a whole lot of stuff. But if it was wrong, then you gonna pay a price for that. You can't be leading people to be henchmen to cover up your sin and do all that type of stuff. And so she was going in on that. And then again, Prophet Carn, they say he's sensitive of the stuff, and Larry said he's like a little boy. When it comes, that's what Larry Reid said. He's like a little boy when it comes to when it comes to criticism. Excuse me. When you criticize Larry criticize Prophet Carn. Excuse me. He's like a little boy. He can't deal with criticism. He always got something to say back and feel some type of way. But again, people are still talking about Prophet Carn. They say his church is gone, that he had to move and stuff like that. And then I know if you go to that hotel, and you got to pay when you get in the conference room. You got to pay, and hopefully, and now it's going to be kind of difficult for him to actually get a loan for his church, because now he's going to be going to prison for 9 months, and don't no bank want to give a loan to a church when the pastor is going to be locked down and thrown in jail or prison for 9 months. Because they need to make sure that their mortgage that's going to get paid, that loan's going to get paid back. So he probably should have tried to get a loan way before he went to being convicted. And his church come together and they give literally give to the church, give so he don't have to pay rent, and then you can just go ahead and do your own fixing to your property as you see fit. But somebody said he was paying, correct me if I'm wrong, I probably could be wrong, $13,000 a month. I heard. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money for rent. Because you could have just been got a mortgage. Because if you get a mortgage, you ain't gonna have to worry about that. They just go and do a fund and fix up the church and everything. Woo, Lord, have mercy. Well, y'all, I'm gonna come back and do another video. Sorry, this was a delayed, going through much, and I said I had to come on the show and talk to y'all, and I will never forget it. I remember back when I was in church and we was preparing. I believe it was Youth Day, and we were preparing for the choir. The youth choir was going to sing. And there was a song that we wanted to sing, I forgot the name of the song. It was something you have sleepless nights, something about sleepless nights, and the youth director said, y'all should sing that song because y'all haven't experienced that. You need to sing what I understand it. But she said, keep living. You understand. When I tell you that was so true, like it was something I was going through a couple of days ago, still going through it. When I tell you I just cried, I was reading my word and then I went home and I cried and I cried and I literally cried myself to sleep because going through it. And I reminded myself of what that youth director said. She said, you keep living and you will understand. You will be able to sing it. So now I can sing that song to the top about having sleepless nights. So going through it. And so I really couldn't do the live stream because, I was emotionally going through it. So I just hurried up and took my pill and I said, let me go to sleep and let me try another day. And woke up feeling much, much better, yet still going through, but I'm feeling much, much better. And I said, yes, I can come on the show and I can talk to the audience and stuff like that. And I appreciate y'all for being here this morning. And shout out to those that are going to catch this in the replay. Make sure y'all go and check it out in the replay. And I will see y'all good. We've been on here for about 30 minutes. Y'all go on out here in the replay. Check it out. Love y'all so very much. Y'all gonna leave a comment. And I'll talk to y'all soon. Little black boy, you beautiful. Little black girl, you are enough. When times come, always remember to put God first. If you want to contribute to the show, we got our Cash App up, $Wally Show 1990. We want to thank you all so very much for that. And we're gonna come back. And we're gonna come back and we'll see y'all soon. Because I want to get some more subjects. But I definitely want to talk about this first. So then we'll come back for some other stuff. All right. Peace.